You want to improve your next winter backpacking trip, so you came to a video made by a Canadian about winter backpacking tips. Look at you, not just a pretty face, smart cookie. We're gonna dive right in and get started. First up is extra footwear. Now, I didn't always bring booties with me on winter backpacking trips. This year is actually going to be the first year that I brought an actual little like camp bootie. We may not think it, but as we're hiking along, our feet are perspiring and sweating inside of our boots. We don't think that we perspire and sweat in the wintertime, but we do. It does happen. And having an extra set of footwear we can change into when we get to camp, it's just going to add some warmth and comfort to our feet. Like I said, when we get to camp, getting out of, our footwear that we've been hiking in and sweating in, and just having something a little more plush and warm at camp. And my go-to this year is going to be these MEC camp booties. These are a synthetic fill little bootie. They got little grippy bottoms on them. They're pretty plush and warm. Been rocking these at home for barbecuing and playing out in the yard and stuff like that. Really like them. Really excited to get these out on trail. Prior to using camp booties like that, I would just carry my winter boots with me. Yeah, it was heavy. Yeah, it was bulky. I just strapped them to the outside of my bag, but it was totally worth it when I could slip into those and be, trudging around camp in my comfortable, warm winter boots. Now, this one I have talked about a couple times in the past, and it always cracks me up because whenever I bring this one up, there's always somebody in the comment section talking about how this is a tip for the poor people, because people who aren't poor afford winter sleeping pads, and they don't need extra foam insulation underneath them for extra warmth in the wintertime. I own winter rated sleeping pads. I own quite a few winter rated sleeping pads. They're very warm. They have very high R value. I still bring this, still use this all the time. It does add R value and a little bit of warmth boost. So, using this under a summer rated sleeping pad can help you get down into winter temperatures. That is true. That's a reason to have one of these. This underneath your sleeping pad is going to give you a little bit more comfort. I've always found the ground just tends to be more lumpy and uncomfortable in the wintertime. It's frozen, it's hard. A little bit more cushioning underneath you is never a bad thing. Even with winter rated pads, I still suggest bringing one of these. Doesn't eat up a lot of weight, strap it to the outside of your bag. It is worth it for that little bit of extra comfort. Plus, use this around camp. You've got a really nice long seat. You've got a seat with a back to it if you want. You dig a chair out of the snow and you sit this in it. Very versatile piece of gear. It's not just for the pores. It's time for all the Nalgene fanboys and fangirls to come out of the woodwork, because this is your time to shine. This is when we're actually gonna say, bring a Nalgene bottle on a backpacking trip. Winter backpacking, absolutely bring a Nalgene bottle with you. It's thicker wall than your Smart bottle in the summertime. It handles hot water really well. So, you can boil water and pour it in here and make a hot water bottle out of it. Just, make sure you've got the cap sealed and secure before you throw it inside your bag. Throwing this in a large Ziploc freezer bag when it's got hot water in it to give it that little bit of extra security is always a nice thing. And if you have an extra pair of socks, putting a pair of socks around this, like a pair of wool socks or thicker synthetic socks, just a nice pair of socks around here is going to hold the heat in a little bit more. It's going to make it, stay warm longer. So it's going to last longer for you. The concept with this, obviously, hot water in here, throw it into your sleeping bag or your quilt, and it's going to help keep you warm throughout the night. But what that will also do, keeping this inside your quilt or your sleeping bag, you've guaranteed got a liter of water in the morning, and it's not going to be frozen. It's always a good idea to keep things, inside your sleeping bag or, next to your person at night, throughout the night, to keep them from freezing up. Things like your water bottle and electronics, things like your battery bank, things like your headlamp. It's actually a good idea to keep stuff like this on your person while you're hiking throughout the day and not in your backpack, because you're going to want these things when you get to camp. You're going to want to top up your batteries overnight. You're going to want to use your headlamp because this wintertime is going to get dark sooner. Electronics are very susceptible to losing their charge when they're exposed to cold. This is one that I really have to focus on as a YouTuber out there in the backcountry, because I've got a lot of extra electronics that you guys may not necessarily consider. Filming equipment and cameras and secondary cameras, a drone, You know, extra battery banks, camera batteries, lots of electronics to take into consideration that I gotta keep warm. And those all get stuck inside my jacket right up next to my body. So my body heat is keeping those warm and stopping them from losing their charge throughout the day. This one isn't really gear related, but it is a tip that's gonna help boost some warmth for you throughout the night and help you sleep warmer at night. And that's just simply eating before you go to bed. Not talking, you know, candy and stuff like that. If you've got anything, you know, high in protein, like I always like saving a bag of beef jerky and I'll kind of munch on that as my last snack before I go to bed. Just protein is going to take longer to digest and your body produces heat in the process of digestion. And as always, you got to wait right till the end to get the very best and most important backpacking tip. And that is simply checking out either of these videos here. I'm sure you guys will find something in there you'll enjoy. As always, I am Maddie. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.